departments?
That's in the packet.
How does this compare to last year?
So everything is on. Let me just get up to let me just get the closed captions going again. That's on.
You did it.
Well, anyway, I can
So
talk.
what are we looking for?
The building department report, it should be right after the agenda.
You gotta, excuse John, he's a rookie. When it comes to this.
He's going pretty fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 2 pages.
Now, how do I put this?
You just move it, drag it.
That's fine.
Yeah, there you go, drag it.
For the month of
June.
June, right, $19,234 was brought in.
Mhm.
All right. How does that compare to, with the rest? That's $83,000, it looks like here, that's being, that's so year to date so far. It's a little slower than last year.
A little less people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I'm like,
Less building permits, less
Yeah.
people doing construction.
All right.
Very, very long winter. Yeah, so last year, we may not have a long winter this year, but a really long.
Construction didn't start till about May. That should start around April.
Probably in March.
Yeah. Okay, the assessors report is right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 properties. So on and so forth. Okay. All right. Next thing is, the assessor, the building assessor, Sean? Yes. Okay. This is, I'm sorry, this is the presentation done by Archtop. Archtop, this is Sean DeGay. He's spoken to many times, and, we have a thing where we can now fight Spectrum.
Well, it's competition. Competition.
Well,
Competition.
Guys,
Mr. Supervisor, members of the council, thank you very much for the opportunity. I apologize. It has been almost 3 years. I went back and looked at my calendar, almost 3 years since we were first here and announcing our project. And I'll take people through sort of what that was for those who don't. We are, I'm one of the founders or the forming founder of the company, and we are based in Kingston and iPark. We're the first company to do a brownfield redevelopment. We have 120 employees 3 years later. The original thesis was to build a competitive internet service to both Verizon and Spectrum here in the Hudson Valley. We are all local. You know, we have acquired several small phone companies, one in Germantown, one in Hancock, all the way on the other side of the valley, and then the southern terminus of the valley in Warwick, and rebuilt those with the latest XGS PON multi-gig fiber. We had announced 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, a plan to invest roughly $300 million in the Hudson Valley, building a state-of-the-art fiber optic network, which is equal or exceeding anything you can really get in the world. It is something called XGS PON, which allows you fiber to the home or fiber to the business, getting a multi-gig product, which is roughly 10 times as fast as Spectrum can provide, and roughly about half the price. I am pleased to say that we launched, and we had significant delays from Mid-Hudson, from Central Hudson, and what contractually we were expecting about 115 days in a permit cycle. They average roughly 500 to 600 days. So we've carried a lot of costs, you know, millions of dollars in fiber sitting in warehouses and things like that. But we had planned to, the original build was roughly 250,000 homes that we would pass. We are significantly behind that. We thought we'd be done by now. We're less than halfway there. But we have currently over 20,000 customers, over 120 employees. So it's the first time since IBM has been there that there is a full-time 10-year leaser with, with a real business and a real, we have a laboratory built there. I can say without a doubt, we are not building a data center or a battery backup facility there. We will provide the data service if they want it, but we are, actually, it's a very green technology. The cable systems, which are old-time Warner cable systems, require a power supply every 150 feet or so. We use a tiny fraction of that power. The only power in our network is at the light generating. We have hub sites every 20 kilometers or so. And then at the device in your home, which both takes that, so we fire basically a laser down a piece of glass the size of a human hair, and we have strung those cables, thousands of miles of them. We've built that Rhinebeck, Red Hook, Hurley, Kingston, Saugerties, and we continue to build out. It is not just a struggle on permits, but we have DOT issues to get in the right of way. It's a large, complex project, but we continue to hire experts and continue to build the company and to continue to grow where we have deployed. You have seen an instant and dramatic reduction in costs from the other providers. They see us coming in, they know exactly where we are. And people are getting these organic phone calls from their providers saying, hey, would you like to lower your prices, lower your rates? And so I think that is very much what we had anticipated. Our penetration rates, where we have provided our service, have people like us. John DeLucas runs our commercial division, so we are also really proud to say that wherever we have launched, almost exclusively, I believe at this point, the municipalities themselves, the city of Kingston, everywhere else, the municipalities themselves have elected to take our service. It is, yes, it is significantly more secure. It is significantly more stable. It is significantly cheaper. It's significantly faster. And so we have, we're really pleased to sort of announce that. What we continue to struggle with, however, are a couple of things. Our thesis was to buy these phone companies that really required capital and investment. We did that. Our thesis was to find locations contiguous to them that have the density for us to make a return on that capital and build out. And where we've been able to get permits, we've done that, and we've done a really good job. Also, the sort of third leg of the stool that I like to say is there was a massive amount of funding that was becoming available. It wasn't part of who we were. We are a privately funded company, but with this public funding for broadband dollars, whether it's the BEAD program or ARPA money, we thought we could fill in some of that white space in between the denser areas. So areas in the town, I'll explain what you're sort of looking at here. But if you sort of think of it as if we put up a mile of fiber and there are 100 homes on that mile, it pays a good return. We're happy to do it. But if there's 10 homes on that mile and you only get 5 of them, that won't even pay, the revenue off of that won't even pay Central Hudson for our rent to attach to their poles. So there has to be a different way, and that public funding was meant for that. We, again, didn't require it, but for areas where it was being offered, we thought it was, we could do a better job of accepting that money and deploying it in a responsible way than anybody else. It's a little bit arrogant to say, but I really believe that. And you can see that now we've gotten funding, ARPA funding from, numerous counties, Thompson County, a couple of others. We have a project going in Sullivan County right now, which is a $30 million project in partnership with the county to build out a fairly ubiquitous network. It's 256 miles of fiber and 22,000 people. And that's going on. We have been awarded by the state, federal government, was originally $70 million, and the Trump administration cut that funding in half, and so we had to redo all of our applications. But we were about to accept in Orange County, Dutchess County, and a bunch of other counties. We have been endorsed by the county government. Unfortunately, in Ulster County, the county government endorsed Verizon over us, so they got that money. And it is unclear to me exactly where they're going to be using that, but it's not the exact overlay that we had proposed. That overlay that we had proposed were the areas in Hurley that we currently couldn't pencil out to serve. So I'll take you through that map. So what you're looking at, all of this area here is largely built already by us. The green areas are areas that are in your town that are lit right now. The purple areas that you see are areas where we have permits where we're anticipating building. So we're waiting on permits to finish those areas. And what the supervisor and I have been talking about are where are the sensitive areas in the town that don't have our service, that may have substandard service from either Verizon or some of the incumbent providers, that we can really get together. And one of the first things we did when we arrived, and when we started our company, was to go to municipalities with an informal, non-binding agreement that said broadband is really, really important. There is a tidal wave of funding coming. We'd love to partner with you, and you can do this with as many other providers as you want, but we will promise to build the application process, spend the money on the engineering, do all that, and apply for these funds in partnership, and at a direction from the town telling us where you think the most important areas are. Fortunately, that worked quite well in some of the other areas in the Hudson Valley. We tripped a little bit in Ulster County, and that money, again, it's not entirely clear to me because the final maps and things aren't received, but we did not receive that for Ulster County. There's an area, we are looking at areas here that are going to be continued to build, and I'm sorry I didn't get you a more detailed map like I said I would, but our GPS guy has been extremely busy. I tried to get it today when I'm leaving the office, and he just wasn't done yet. But we will get it to you so you can put it, and we'd like to put it up on a website so everybody can go see our map and say, this is exactly where they built, this is exactly where they'd like to build, and really have a complete and sort of vernacular understanding of exactly what we're doing when we're doing it. In this area here, there's some density that's really attractive to us. It's obviously quite beautiful in that area, and we'd like to build it. I do not believe Verizon is going to build it from our information. And so there is an opportunity there. There is a second wave of the BEAD money, which has not been clearly articulated how that actually is going to get distributed, but it's roughly another $600 million in the state of New York alone. So we stand on the balls of our feet waiting to see how we can do that going forward. And, we continue to look at our municipalities as our partners in this, and not just our regulators, which you are through your Department of Public Works and all the road rights of way issues. I'm really, really proud of what we have done as a company from a social perspective. Our guys joke around with me that I never met at a festival or a parade that I didn't want to get involved in. So we're very, very focused, our guy Matt is virtually everywhere, so we continue to do that. We continue to get involved, and we continue to build wherever we have permits and invest the exact money. And I think Steve Noble said something that in my 30 years of doing this around the world, our management team has built networks in Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, 7 different cities in Poland after the Berlin Wall fell. We built Santiago, Chile, down to Tierra del Fuego. So we've been doing this a while. We're good at it. But what we continue to struggle with are, both timing and cost. Prior to this project, my average costs for what we call pole make ready, that's applying to attach to the poles, took roughly 100 days and cost roughly $4,000 a month. As I said, it's taking 500 to 600 days now, and in some cases we are seeing $100,000 or $150,000 a mile in costs given to us by the electric utilities. It's outrageous. The Department of Public Service, in my opinion, I say this publicly, should do something about it, and it hasn't. But we continue to fight that fight, and we continue to build where we can. Sometimes migrating underground because the cost of going aerial, which would be faster, should be cheaper, isn't. What else can I say? But we are, we've worked with Mike, we've identified the areas, and just sort of sat there and took notes from him and circled the areas in this area that are highly sensitive, that don't have service, that we'd like to provide that service, and we will continue to dialogue with you. I should have come in a year ago when we finished our construction and we were waiting, giving you this update. But Mike wouldn't let me miss that, so he called me a few times and I realized it was time. So again, I apologize for not keeping you as informed as you should have been. But I am right down the road. I work out of my park. I live in Highland, so and yeah, I'll have my cell phone number, which is on the website, which I put up there for a reason.
What I want to do also, and those of you people that want to get on stock, call me out of town, keep track of it, I'll bug you. We were talking about 28A.
Yes.
28A, and doing all the spurs off it. We have another road yet to do also, Russell Road, which is in Old Hurley.
Yes.
So I'll be in touch with you. I'll give you some more addresses and so forth.
Yeah, and keep them coming because we can.
And I will speak to Mark Gallagher about did it be my.
Great. March is terrific. She really understands it at a baseline level. So
Okay.
can answer any questions anyone has.
So thank you for coming and explaining everything.
Oh, my pleasure.
I'm happy to say I'm a customer of your company.
Thank you, sir.
Very happy with the service.
Thank you.
So the question that a lot of time people have when I speak to them about, this sort of stuff, when you guys come in, it's always with a nice introductory rates. And then after 5 years when everybody's plugged in, it goes up. But at that point, there's nobody else accountable. So obviously you can't predict the future, but is your company committed to stay affordable? Because right now you're very affordable compared to the other people who were mentioned. Is that part of your culture to stay,
Yes. We all were, my mentor was a guy named Bill Bresnan, who was an icon in our industry. Depression era guy who built the company to, he passed away. We continued in sort of his image to build it. And you take care of your customers and they take care of you. We're a long-term investor. And, I'm here because I don't want to live anywhere else. The Hudson Valley was where I was as a child growing up in Pleasant Avenue in Harlem. My parents would send me up to a farm in Columbia County saying, these are green things. They're trees. You should learn about them, So here I am turning 60 and still loving the Hudson Valley all these years later. So it's really nice to be in my 4th year of living here full time. I moved my 80-something-year-old parents up here just a couple months ago. So I'm here to stay. As far as the pricing, it's a great question. And while nobody can predict the future with absolute clarity or 2020 vision, I can say that all market trends and all indications are that broadband pricing is going down, not up. It's a commoditization at this point. Verizon, with the new merger with Frontier, is investing for the first time in a long time. Companies like Spectrum and Comcast are under a lot of pressure and are lowering rates wherever there's competitive exposure. Their competition of us is not going to go away. It's only going to get more intense. And as there is going to be, as companies fight for customers, the only inevitable thing that happens is that it pushes it down. Additionally to that, there are newer technologies that are coming. You've all probably heard about Elon Musk's Starlink service. Amazon has just launched, I don't know how many new satellites, and their Project Kuiper, which they changed the name to something else a couple of weeks ago. I don't think that is a equal service to ours. They have weather-related outages. There's latency to get up to a satellite and back down. It's a great product. It serves a need, but at the end of the day, if you are a nurse doing work from home and you're HIPAA compliant, you need a wired, secure connection. If you're a finance person, maybe you're working for a bank and you're transferring, if you're a doctor, sending large files, fiber is the single best way to do that. And that's why we chose that as a technology. And we continue to invest in it. We continue to be very pleased with it. My guess is you're going to see prices go down, not up in the short term. And I don't see anything happening to any of us so there may be some industry consolidation, but it would surprise me if that industry consolidation reduced the number of competitors. What it may do is make This medium-sized guy slightly bigger and the big guy slightly bigger, but we have absolutely no plans. I have not heard a single conversation ever, John, about raising rates. Our conversations are almost exclusively how to be competitive with the other providers out there. So,
Thank you.
yes, ma'am.
I just have two questions. So what area do you have outlined? That's not all of Hurley, is it? Is it?
Yes.
That's
That
right.
whole thing is Hurley? Okay, so it's West, one end and what's the other? Okay, and, for myself, I have Spectrum with my landline. Do you guys do landlines as well, or you're just doing?
We do. Great question. What we do is what we don't do is a linear video service. And let me explain that specifically because it has an impact on the town finances. We provide high-speed data, which is our core product, and then we also provide telephone. Landline telephone is really important from a public safety perspective, especially in areas with subpar cellular service. So we are fully compliant, E911 compliant, incumbent phone service comparable wireline, and we provide that. In fact, I moved my parents up here and I ported their home phone number from downstate to up here, and we will do that continuously here. What we don't provide, we provide a streaming product for video, which under the Telecommunications Act, Title VI of the Telecommunications is an information service, not a cable service. The town has a franchise with Spectrum whereby they pay 5% of their gross receipts on video services only to the town. We don't do that. Our authority to be in the right of way is a state authority. It's a certificate of public conveyance in need. And you can make a statement, and Supervisor Quigley makes a statement to me almost weekly, that every time we take a customer away from Spectrum, 5% of their video services don't come to the town anymore. My answer to that, to him, is very simple. And Jim and I are friends at this point, all these years later, is that person would likely lose their linear video service anyway, because the migration to a digital streaming service is going leaps and bounds. And so while in elder communities like Hurley, that is a little bit slower than downtown Seattle, it still is happening. And whether you lost the video service and kept your data service with Spectrum or moved it to Verizon or with us, it would have no material effect. So you are losing franchise fees and you will continue to lose franchise fees irrespective of whether we came here. We may be speeding it up a little because we're for a triggering moment where people examine their bills and say, oh, wait, I can get the same thing from YouTube TV and I don't have to pay $150 a month. Right? And so that's something that you should be aware of as you budget going into the future. You should be sort of examining the trending down of those franchise fee dollars.
So,
Just like,
go ahead.
just let you know, when we joined, we had Spectrum coming in, he had a franchise fee. We had 3%, we chose 3%. And what we did, we took all that money, so $170,000, we put it aside, and that would help any other customers that need to have Spectrum come there, we would pay for that. And we would have a, now, the thing is, over the franchise fee, it's passed on to the customers. So in other words, you were paying, when we were collecting the
So we
franchise
were
fee,
making the
you were
money.
paying it also. Right? And we got, both John and I decided at that point that we're gonna get like $170,000 whatever, and then stop there. And when we stopped doing the franchise fee, everybody's bill went down to 3%.
So you're not listening to that. One more question. Are you in Carroll as well?
We are building we built Hudson, and across the river, we are building the Catskill Road right now.
Okay.
And there's still some.
My son lives up there.
Right, yeah, we are working on permits up there. It's a National Grid area, which anything is even slower and more expensive than Central Hudson. But yes, we are working in that area right now.
So I do have a question, and Mike talked a little bit about it. So yes, so we no longer have the franchise fee. We have, based on our knowledge and our outreach to our community, we are 100% billed out. So that's why we stopped actually the 3%. Once we hit that number, monies are still there if needed. But I do have a question. So the 1% gross annual utility tax, you guys have to provide that either on the right of way? That's
I'm
New York
sorry.
State law. The 1% gross annual tax. So basically whatever you make based on using the right of ways in the communities, you're supposed to provide 1% back to the communities?
I believe we are. Let me give you my card.
'Cause I need that for budget.
Specifically. Yes.
And I haven't seen it anywhere else. So that's why I'm asking.
We have the exact
With
same
fiber in it.
tax burden on
Referring to.
property taxes and fees in the rights of way that anybody else.
Right, right. So you're, like
If
utilities,
Verizon is
any
paying it,
Central
we're
Hudson,
paying
Verizon. So it's 1% grossing, but basically you would have to provide back to municipalities for the right of way use. So that's something that you will talk about.
Yeah, I'm not the accountant in the room, so
That's fine.
but I'll ask and get
That's
you the
fine.
answer.
So the hard part about it is to see where exactly you guys are using those right of ways and trying to get it as an exact, number, how that would actually work. But there's no fiber right now that I see any municipality receiving monies from. But there should be, and I know there will be, but I think it's too new. But anyway, I wanted to also just thank you for the competition, because before that we were handcuffed and there was nothing, and you guys have brought the competition in, and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, the town of Hurley it was one of the first MOUs that we have gotten. And you have been kind and thoughtful and and I think the squeaky wheel gets grease. So I was going to a lot of other municipalities more frequently, and then one of his former students reminded me that I needed to get in here pretty quickly. So here we are. And I'm willing to come back. I live right up the road, so I'll come back as frequently as you need.
Okay, thank you.
Sean, thank you.
Looking forward to getting you, so I can sign up as well.
Okay, where do you live?
Russell Road.
Oh,
You have 98 hours?
There's like 90 homes between Russell Road, Overlook, and the sport.
100 miles.
I'll leave. Please
not there at
contact
all?
me on that.
No. No.
My role is development here, so figuring out where we go next is
There's, I think, about 90 homes.
Are you on Old School 9?
part of it.
There would be this purple area here.
Yeah, that's it right there. I know they were putting stuff at the beginning. I saw some of the stuff going in, but never came up the road.
Okay, let's talk about it, and I can, do the math. And
I'm ready to become a customer.
and actually, one of the ways, one thing that we do is, we have a model that we use on the number of homes and the expected penetration, and that reveals to us what our return is, and that we can go get that money from our investor. What we can do is put our thumb on the scale a little bit, where if there are 90 homes,
I
But it's-
believe there are.
but it doesn't
At
quite,
least 90.
Yeah, there's a lot.
but there's enough footage there that it doesn't quite meet our model. What we have done in the past is had a sort of sign-up event, because ordinarily we get roughly between 30 and 40% of the market. And that's how we determine what our return is.
Mhm.
But if we can go to a place that is underpenetrated, has a high demand, and we could say, okay, we're gonna get 60% of the market here, and we have that interest written on a petition or individual sign-up sheets, I can actually put my thumb on the scale, go to our investors and say, yes, this doesn't meet the normal model, but we have assurances that we're going to get a higher penetration. So that moves the ROI up, and we can greenlight things that way. It's not a panacea, but it is a way to do it. And the only way to get these difficult areas done is to continue to communicate. So that's really what I'm doing.
What is your breakdown? Like, for example, Spectrum was 20 houses per linear mile,
From the node.
right? As a crow flies.
Yeah, that's
Not
built into the
necessarily.
franchise fee.
Yeah.
So under Title VI, they're required to have a litmus test of where they
You
build.
don't have that necessarily. Yours is
We
built
don't,
into a
but-
private.
20 homes per mile sounds pretty good to us. It's some of the stuff that we've built. So, we don't have, it's
That would
really,
equate that. That would equate that, Russell Road.
yeah, we look at it, we're building underground, there's a lot of rock and
Right.
it's gonna bump up and we have different things.
There's a lot of rock there.
So there's, there are ways to do it. There's other technologies that we have used, like in downtown Saugerties and in Rhinebeck, we did something called micro trenching.
Oh, yeah?
And we cut a 1-inch slot into the roadbed along the side of the roadbed and go down about 18 inches. And we put a 11mm duct and put a very, very, reduced diameter fiber in there. That allows us to,
Get some
deploy very, very quickly, where municipalities say, it's our roads.
Right,
We
right.
can give you permission to cut, do the whole town. And that's why we built Rhinebeck first, because Gary there said, go ahead, cut my roads. Now, the road department is not gonna like us, because we're cutting asphalt that they have to maintain. We patch it, but,
Right.
they get pretty protective over their asphalt, as they should. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Okay, all right, we're going with resolutions now. The first resolution is authorizing the execution of Civic Plus statement of work for municipal website migration, hosting, and related services. What's happened basically is here is that, what's happening here, they are migrating from their, Dropbox platform.
Our current platform is Civic Plus.
Right.
Right, we're already on Civic Plus.
And what's happening basically is they are not gonna migrate. We have to migrate with them to a different platform coming through. All right, and this platform coming through, is gonna will provide us later on ADA compliance coming through. There's a program that we can opt into later on, to get ADA compliance for us. Before this program, before we had Civic Plus, we had Duo as well.
No, it's a digital co-pack.
Digital, okay. And,
Yeah.
I remember,
That's old school.
oh, yeah, John and I, back when it first came out, it was like, it was unbelievable. It was terrible in a sense. And when Civic Plus came in, and the thing with Civic Plus that I like also is that customer service was right on. We call them up right away, there's an issue and so forth, or we need to make, more pages. They'll do it right then and there.
They're
We've had
also
no issues with them.
utilized by many, many municipalities.
And the thing is, the migration over is, of course, money for us to migrate over, but they're not gonna charge until January of 2028. So these are, so this resolution allows me to sign the migration over. And it's gonna be ADA compliant, which is important.
Yes.
So I make a motion, I'm not gonna read this.
Could also add that
Initially, there was a committee that chose Civic Plus after looking at a lot of different options that happened.
It's like 4 years ago.
Right, so, yeah, they had a large communications committee, and once they finished their work,
You know.
they stopped meeting.
And things are also with Civic Plus. Yeah, the thing is with Civic Plus also, we contacted municipalities that had Civic Plus, and they were also very highly of it. Like digital token we had was like, we didn't call anybody but a digital token because they're terrible. Okay, this was really good. And the things are, what pleases me is customer service.
And you will see changes on the platform that much more user-friendly and intuitive, so it will be a huge improvement to what we have now.
And we are right now going through the website and making changes here and there to upgrade and to make it more transparent and all this.
And Mike, just speak on, I think if there is feedback, definitely
Yes.
we want to hear from residents because, you know, we're in here all the time, so sometimes things seem more obvious to us. Whereas residents, you know, we may not look at the same way. Absolutely.
But please let us know, for example, like, you can't find certain things and these are things we need to know. All that, so make it user friendly.
Can I ask you a quick question? Will there be any information on the website for residents about like how to use it or
Yes.
as the migration happens?
There's gonna be a button, it's called how to, and then you type in what it is that you wanna do. And, it should come up with, whatever, like, for example, like, how to get a dog license, for example, like, what do you do, how you get a man's license? You just type, it's the how to button, and then you type in what. And, we're going through that right now, so that's easier. So in other words, if you have suggestions on more how to, we'll add it on.
And we also we're going to be establishing a email address with a staffer, info@townofhurleyny.gov. So you can always just email it with.
Yes. All right, I make a motion to accept this resolution, authorizing execution of Civic Plus migration. All right, any further discussion? All in favor? So be it. The next one is this.
Vendor fee services, the tree, 44 needs.
Oh, the tree, yes. All right, Black Walnut Tree. Black Walnut Tree is located on 44 Main Street is a problem. You know, and we're trying to resolve the problem. We have to wait. There's one tiller that leans over into where we are building an addition. And for those of you who don't know what Black Walnut Tree is, get hit by one of them nuts, you'll know what it is. All right, and so like that's gonna be where the parking lot is, and we don't want cars getting dinged. So what we have actually sent out, we've requested 3 bids from 3 different companies more or less to come in, trim back that tiller, pruned also, a little more pruning, and then cable the rest of the tillers. Go through it. And the lowest bid we got was from Limber, and that was for, $1,200, 1120. The other two bids was for 1,900, and the other one was for 5,500.
It might be in the
32.
packet.
No, it's 3,200, just a payment, and 550, 5,500, the cable it also.
That's
I know. So that's what it is, so. And so basically is we, Limber was actually, Jordan Volker, the, owner of it.
I like Jordan.
Right, he came by and he actually, we needed to ask him to measure, to tell us the health of the tree. And, so all right, so I have here a motion. I motion to accept, resolution authorizing acceptance of an estimate from Lindbergh Tree Services for tree preservation services at the Hurley Heritage Community Center.
I'll second.
Second, any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
And we're.
It's coming out of the grant. It's coming out of the grant.
I didn't put where it was coming from in the resolution.
It's coming out of, capital 20H.
31 inch.
21H is the,
31 inch is the,
oh, sorry, 31H is the, is the 44 Main Street, 31
yes,
inch.
31 inch.
Okay. Next one, yes,
On the last one, payment shall be made on Civic Plus, as you mentioned, the, online.
it's 31H.
No,
No, not-
Civic Plus.
Oh, Civic Plus. It's gonna come out of, 1620, that's, buildings. Yeah, it's gonna come out of buildings.
1620.
Yes,
1620.4.
1620.4. Right? Court. All right, next one is to, court, Justice Court audit. We're able to, do, April to June. Court,
Oh, here it is. I got it. Yeah.
okay? I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
All right, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approve the update to register stipend.
I have a question on that. So something about the death certificate. Is this for 1 month?
All right, what this does, it will actually give what's left over to the town clerk or the register, and also remove the deputy register of receiving anything since you no longer works there.
We're not gonna have a deputy register?
We are, but at this point right now, that we have to remove stipend from this, and then we can do something later. All right, so I make a motion for resolution amending resolution number 2026, whatever that was, a few months ago, establishing stipends for register and deputy register duties relating to the death certificate processing. Why have a second?
Can you just explain what this is?
What it is basically is that we have a register and a deputy register, and we'll
Registrar.
Yeah.
we have what?
Registrar. There was a stipend for their payment. Each was getting $1,000. The deputy registrar, is no longer with the town, went to greener pastures. So the remaining $500 from her stipend is going to be paid to the regular registrar.
She doesn't check my registration first.
So statutorily, registrars have to be paid, and there's certain ways in which they can be paid. One is through the stipend, and that's what the town board had chose to do.
For this year.
Okay, so there's not going to be a deputy for the rest of the year that is then going to come in and want the other 500 that's being passed on to the other person to do it? So is it gonna end up increasing, or?
Now,
That would be something that the town board would have to
we have
look
to do a
into.
resolution to split
That happens,
it back
yes.
up again.
Yeah, so this is changing the payments.
And we all know how easy it is to take money back after it's been appointed and given, so that's where I just wonder.
Well, obviously, they can't take take it back once they're paying to someone.
So it would be in addition, if there is a deputy before the end of the year, it would be in addition to the normal two
No,
thousand.
if they chose to pay a deputy registrar in addition. So the statute only requires a registrar, but that's again up to them. And
Okay.
at that time, you know, if and when they choose to create a new stipend, then, you know, that issue would be raised.
It's quarterly, so if someone comes in by the fourth quarter, then that can be adjusted in a resolution, and then the deputy registrar would then have the 250 allowable to them in the fourth quarter.
And the deputy registrar doesn't even have to be potentially paid by a stipend. So it's not like it's as soon as a deputy registrar is appointed, that automatically the town board has to then approve a stipend to pay them.
Okay.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Now we go into the fun part discussion. Community Preservation Fund, Community Housing Fund. This is something that other municipalities in Ulster County and Hudson Valley do. What they do is they charge like a 1% to 2% transfer tax, I should say, or buying, either buying new homes or second homes more or less. And that money then is used for a fund that can actually do a lot of things. You can use it for recreation, you can use it for like a rail trail we have there.
Yeah, and it has limited uses and we can discuss it, but the first step in doing that is you guys would have to develop a community preservation plan. Okay, and the plan identifies certain community resources which you want to preserve. It can be historic resources, they can be natural resources, but it is statutorily limited to what you can do. It's something that definitely there would need to be a lot of discussion. You guys would need to come up with a plan, and then there would be 3 separate local laws adopted. One adopting the plan, a second one creating the fund, and the third one is the tax law, basically creating. So anytime there is a sale that is beyond the median house price, then you can do a percentage, and I believe it might be up to 2 or 3%.
2%.
But it's up to you guys. It could be 0.5%. It could be something else.
No,
And it's only that portion of the price that is above the median.
Oh, okay.
So it's not,
Selling price.
yeah.
Sorry, I thought that we've had this discussion before. I thought you've mentioned that there's already a process where we were collecting funds.
We do. We do have a preservation where we can buy property. We put a fund together for that. I used, funds that came at the end of the year that were left over, surplus funds. This is something that Mike would like. This would be, until it was removed, it would be, perpetuity. This would be something that anything over a set price. Let's, for example, $350,000 right now is the median house sale. Anything above that would potentially have that. For example, 1.5% would go into that. I think Mr. Bombs has talked about not utilizing that as all homes, but second homes or anything over $1 million, for example. These are things you guys can talk about and discuss and put into your policies and regulations.
But it would increase the cost of the house to the person buying.
Buying it,
It's in the trend.
correct.
But it's something also that this is pursuant to specific statutes. It has to follow specific guidelines. The funds that are taken can only be used for specific purposes. So it's something that definitely not something you do overnight.
Do we have money in that preservation fund now that John's?
There's about 130,
And you can't
60,000.
commingle any other of those.
Right. So the purpose why we purchased that was to assist in the water preservation in the flats over here off of 209. So we've been working on that with Ms. Gill. We're in discussions, potentially purchasing some of that property to give a buffer, for the folks that have, obviously, Hurley water. That's one of their largest draws. So that's really what it was designed for. It was more for, preserving, land around the areas at which habitat, water, build outs.
So I actually have like 3 plans from places around the Marble Town, Rosendale, and also Weinberg. And we'll share them with you, the plans I have there. And then we can sit down and look at that and see exactly if we get our own plan from that, if we choose to go with something. All I'm saying
The
is that,
first step is getting together a plan, because you also need to identify the resources that you are going to be collecting and potentially spending these funds on preserve. So identifying certainly, historic property, other things that, you want to, basically utilize these funds.
There's a criteria, some places
There-
outlines.
There are
what we can do with
criteria,
that.
yes, what you can and can't do, and the plan definitely needs to identify real property that, funds will be used.
So, Greg?
So the NRI actually has a chapter about this.
Okay.
This resource, so identifying the properties that would be applicable.
For this, okay.
Yeah, I will share this with the plans. And then we can sit down.
And give us a link to that.
Yeah. What's on the website? Like,
Well, no, just specifically to this.
Yeah, I will get that.
This part of it.
Okay.
Am I allowed to ask a question? I know it's not.
Tell them there's a second public.
Well, here's the thing, Becca. We have a second public comment coming up after this.
Oh, okay.
So like, you can do that.
Just write the question down so you don't forget.
Okay, the next one, you already have the community center update. It's going. They're putting in the addition right now. Hopefully, it's moving.
What's the, they have a projected end date? I can't remember.
Thanksgiving.
Because they were Thanksgiving, and the library center's been no issues, so.
There's no, right, that's the
They're
thing.
doing a good job.
And the thing is also, we're in the process of getting an easement from the library. We submitted the site plans to the library for the lawyer there. He will then, write an easement, present it to Matt Jankowski. Yeah. Okay, solar speed signs again. I'm talking to Matt here about the DOT, their objections to it and all that, and I'll get back to you on that. The highway, garage funding.
DOT's objective.
They're not objective.
They're not objective.
He's just, there's a lot of regulations and a lot of certain things that, so I'm walking Mike through the reg.
Okay, thank you.
It's slow walking. Highway garage funding from Michelle Henchy. Again, I spoke to, Elizabeth Tavares, her, executive assistant, and, it's on the table.
Okay.
Okay, and I kindly gently reminded, Michelle Henchy that, she gave a nice grant to a, town garage. Another town, so like I said, don't forget us,
Mm-hmm.
so, we're.
Great. Did you remind her that her husband's a town of Hurley for a picture?
Yeah. All right, the EV charge we discussed already, and the transfer station upgrade, we discussed.
That was a definite thing.
Yes.
Very cool.
All right, make a motion to open a public comment number 2. By the second. Do I have a third? I got. All right. All right, any objections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Second one.
Do I talk to the microphone?
Yes, please. It's recorded.
Obviously, this is about the town preservation or property preservation. Obviously, you already said that you have to discuss it further, so I understand that you don't have all the details. But I want to make sure that I understand it correctly. So basically, you would determine that certain properties in Hurley need to be preserved so that upon sale, a fee would be placed on the property, paid for by this buyer, is from what you said. And that money would go to the town.
No.
No?
So every single sale in the town of Hurley, there is an extra percentage taken and put in this fund, which goes to the preservation of certain identified properties. So every property
Every
is
property
taxed.
is taxed
If
on
it's
sale?
beyond, and there will be criteria that they can create, so it could be 0.5% or up to 2% of the median sales price. Then that extra community preservation tax then goes into the community preservation fund, which can only be used for certain properties for the preservation of historic resources, natural resources, other things that are outlined within the community preservation plan. They need to first create a community preservation plan before they even start thinking about doing the rest of these steps.
Understood.
Yeah.
But what you're considering is a tax on any home sale. in
Every
the town.
single sale that is beyond
But it
the
could be,
median.
it's an additional tax, yes.
Yes,
Above the
A new
median
tax.
price, and only the
That portion.
funds, a portion above the median price, and it could be, as Mike said, we might say, on.
There are
$100
statutory
sales and
limits.
over.
It can't
I
be over 2%.
understand
It
that,
can't
but I'm
be.
thinking you already mentioned that median house home is 300,000. I don't know that you could look at real estate prices of anything for sale in town of Hurley and find anything. That just doesn't exist.
Well, we know that.
So it's that's every.
It's going up.
No. Well, there has to be, it can't just make up a number and say, oh, yeah, that's the median sales price. The median sales price is based on information that the assessor keeps track of. So they're just coming up with numbers that there's no basis of right now, okay? So if and when this happens, they will have information that says this is what the median sales price, that they can then base that tax. They can't just like, oh, median sales price is $100,000 and then do 1% on everything over 100,000. You know,
I do want to say something. 2 years ago, we finished, or last year actually, we finished with our equalization rate. We went to 100%,
Mhm.
and within 9 months, we got to 91%. After 18 months, we're down to 82%, which means in 2 years' time, the sale price of houses went up 18%.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's what makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
Like, gonna be taxing everybody, but also, yeah. One of the things, I will just finish with this because I know you haven't even begun planning, so it's not,
Right.
there's nothing to criticize or I'm just
Right,
asking
we don't even
questions.
know if we're gonna do this.
Right, right, right,
Well,
exactly.
We would want input from the.
Yes.
oh, yeah, and all these would be
So
by
my-
local
my
laws, there'd
final
be public
comment is
hearings.
just
there'd be-
One of the things I love about Hurley is lower taxes. So I'm just gonna leave you with.
This is only tax when you sell your house.
And wouldn't be,
Right.
would be on the buyer.
Then it
Yeah,
goes
the
to
buyer,
buyer.
goes to buyer.
I understand that, but it affects the sales.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak? Kristen?
Hi, Kristen Shar, I live on Hilltop Drive, and I just want to remind everyone that, the Climate Smart Task Force is working with, Cornell Cooperative Extension on a climate vulnerability assessment. And we have a, survey out there. The link was in the newsletter. We're gonna try to get the link, on the website so you can find it easier and, you know, because we really want to get, as many people as possible from the town to take this survey. We're looking for, where you think we're vulnerable or where you have observed problems with severe weather. So we're going to try to, gather all that data and, help us come up with, better plans to help us protect those places that are vulnerable.
It was on social media because I sent it to a bunch of folks that are down in the flats.
So, and, you know, there are, printed copies of the survey available here in town hall but really the best way to take it is digitally because it will go directly to Cornell and they'll be able to collect the data much easier that way. And there are some sort of long form questions where you could, you know, you have more space if you do it digitally to really fill it in completely. So, just wanted to remind everybody about that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you wish to speak? All right, I make a motion to,
I was, Kristen also mentioned to me that the Ashokan entrance, one of the Ashokan rail trails is in Hurley. That would be another spot for the beach merger. And, is there anything else? I think that's it. So when you're considering different places in West Hurley, that's also a possibility.
that's not our landmark.
It's early, but it's counts.
County. It's, no, it's DEP. It's DEP, man.
To me, that would be the optimal place. You know, it's right on, you know, the 28th, and it's, you know, you have people visiting there, you know.
I'm sure that they're probably looking to do their own grants for that.
Maybe, maybe not. Oh, the other thing
Well, that
was.
man's open to them also.
That's what I'm saying.
We don't have a preservation plan, but we do have an open space plan. Would that become part of that?
It's, the community preservation plan is something that is specifically limited. And like, yes, you can use information maybe from the open space plan to identify properties and other stuff that are going to be identified in the community preservation plan, but the community preservation plan is a statutory creature that is specific to these certain statutory purposes. A lot of the information may be the same, so it could be one of the things utilized as a starting point in developing the community preservation plan.
It could be. a
I'm
good
sure
start.
Greg will help walk you guys through that the whole process and help get you guys together with information. But before you even think about creating the fund, creating the tax, you definitely need to create the plan.
Thank you.
Make a motion to close public comment number 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, you make a motion, I make a motion.
It's still a matter to go into it, or
Yes.
is it just reflecting negotiations?
No.
It's also, okay, we're gonna go, I make a motion to go to executive session for public service, public oath of law, section 105, one that pertaining to collective negotiations pursuant to article. I can say so, thank you.
And we're going in for the same two matters. One matter pertaining to pursuant to public officers law 105 that pertaining to this is the motion or devotion of employee. Just which collective bargaining. What was that?
And which collective bargaining unit is it?
Yes. The collective bargaining.
Okay, that's right, and also public officers law 105. F. This is a matter of
It's,
No, but it's pertaining to the promotion of an employee, or is this a disciplinary?
it's not disciplinary, it's what we were talking about earlier. I don't know how much more.
So there's, see, there's appointments, there's.
Employment history.
Is it employment history?
All right, thank you.
You just tell them what you do.
I was just gonna say, can you just read it off?
I can make an education, yes. All right, not my first reading.
And I want to invite, I'm ready now?
Yes.
I want to
Yes.
invite John Perry, I want to invite Matt Jankowski, Samara, I want to invite.
As our HR director.
As HR director, and also,
Do you want me there for both or
Yes.
just items?
yes. And also Andrew Doyle.
Do I have there?
So my question is.
No, he's gonna be, I'm sorry.
That's
First one. We'll be for one session, one of it. This is gonna be public officers law 105, section F.